Give me one more take on something while I have you, then I'll let you go, and I appreciate you being here. Ukraine. The political state of play now, the needle is moving towards, that's enough. Stop wasting money on Ukraine. It's not our fight. Let them figure it out. We've done enough, specifically in your party. Do you agree?
I think that we haven't done enough correctly. But to say we've done enough for Ukraine, no. We're talking about the freedom of millions of people at stake here. You're talking about
not our problem, and they're Nazis.
Yeah,
Hear on the far right.
They're not Nazis, and and they're. I mean, I know many of these people. I know the people who are Russian ethnics who are more American than some Americans I know. I know the Western Ukrainians who come out of what was back in World War II, a Nazi enclave. But they are people who are democratic. They like freedom. They're people we support. And if we don't support them, what's going to happen is the signal that's going to send to other despots and to Putin as well will cause more problems. There's a reason we didn't have these problems under Trump. It's because they didn't know what Trump would do. They were scared of Trump. And Trump was ridiculed for saying he likes to meet with people and he doesn't care what the State Department said. He met with Kim Jong-un, he met with Xi Jinping, he met with Putin. Because in his mind, when they read him, they fear him. And to people who say, well, that's not true, well, what happened on his watch? Nothing. And there's a reason. It's because of what he was able to project. So I think Ukraine is an important battle still to be won. I think the Biden administration has done the correct things too late on a consistent basis. If we had the weapons that they're there now 6 months ago, they would have made a bigger success in the summer offensive. The biggest problems are they haven't been able to penetrate the minefields, right. and that can be dealt with the right weapons. And if they get the tanks, if they get the planes, that's not a hard thing for them to overcome. But they don't, and so they're fighting on grit and guts and trying to protect their country. And we can't abandon them. But we also need to do, and this is what Trump would do, is get the Europeans to do more than talk. Because one of the ugly secrets I learned in my time in Ukraine, when everyone in Europe was saying we want Ukraine to be part of Europe, is many of them don't want Ukraine to be part of Europe. They want Ukraine to not be part of Russia, but they don't want.
They don't want it in NATO.
They don't want it in NATO. They don't even want some of the markets.
You think they should be in NATO? You think that would change it?
I think that right now would be a mistake to go into NATO. It would because it's a flashpoint.
Right.
I think you've got to work through the process. They're not anywhere close to being in NATO, but they should be in the European Union, and that will bring trade benefits to Ukraine. But the rehabilitation of the country is going to be huge.
And we need it because it's such a big grain center.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.